But I remember just overwhelmingly feeling like I miss me. Like it was a legitimate feeling that who I was so far gone. And she was only like 8 weeks old or something. But I just remember feeling like, damn, like what was it like before this? You know what I mean? And I remember posting that. I remember posting that, and all my friends, like coworkers, friends, everybody was like, we know exactly how you feel. Welcome back to another episode of Life After I Do. You know the drill. With Nisha G and Molito.
PYT.
Pretty young thing.
TFC.
To the love and care.
Hey, Booskies.
Hey. My ear itch.
Ooh. What that mean?
Somebody talking about me.
Somebody talking about you?
Somebody talking crap out there in the world. Stop talking crap, you crap talkers.
Well, if you were trying to threaten them, that ain't gonna cut it. I'll tell you right now.
That didn't do it?
Yeah, that didn't do it at all.
Why?
Because
that wasn't intimidating enough?
Not at all. Just some of the video of you.
Just make sure they address me as big bro.
Okay.
just make sure they address me as big bro.
So now you want to be a man.
Just address me as big bro.
Okay. All right, big bro. Bring them groceries in.
No, I can't do that.
No, big bro.
I can't.
Nah, big bro.
I can't do that. I told you. Gym strength does not translate to everyday at home strength.
How you doing, Booskies?
I can't carry laundry. I can't carry groceries.
How you doing, Booskies?
I'm good. I just ate some chicken, so hopefully that'll give you a little bit of energy.
Just like a...
Address me as big bro, please. Thank you.
All right, big bro.
Thank you.
All right, big bro.
Thank you.
You want to be a man so bad.
No, I don't.
You wouldn't have no problems.
Yeah, I would.
Okay. All right, big bro.
Thank you.
How was your week, big bro?
I was teasing. Shut up. I don't like that.
No, come on.
I don't like that.
Ask and you shall receive.
Okay. It was good. My weekend was good. What did I do this weekend?
How's your week? Not just
my week. Okay, yeah, sorry.
Come on, big bro.
My week was good.
Lock in.
I don't like you. My week was good.
Okay, what was good about it?
I parented.
Okay, hard.
Yeah, I did. Because my daughter is like getting older. She's getting into that 8 range. And the little personality is like, you know.
She hit you with the okay.
No, she hit me with a lot of different things. And I'm like, girl, I need you to roll it back.
Baby girl.
Roll it back just a little bit. Where is my toothless 4-year-old?
Gone.
Because I'm gonna need her to spin the block one more time.
You have a sassy, back talking, almost 8-year-old.
Oh my goodness! It's but why? And then that doesn't make sense. Excuse me, you're 7. It makes sense if I tell you. It makes sense.
Hold on, big bro. You can dish it, but you can't take it? Because those are all things you say.
That's different.
But why? Why, Maurice?
But why?
That doesn't make sense.
That's different.
Oh, so when you say it's
I'm
cool.
having a conversation with another adult.
So it's cool when you do it.
Yes. It's a problem when she does it. Oh. Exactly. Now that we've got that out of the way.
You know what her response to that would be? Once upon a time, all of us didn't change.
No, just like, okay, wait a minute. So, like when she gets in trouble and she gets a consequence or she gets disciplined or whatever. So like this morning when you, for whatever reason, I don't know why it crossed your mind to rest your foot on the table today. And she looks at me and she was like, is dad going to get a consequence?
Yes. Yeah. The consequence is I'm going to put my foot down because I pay for everything.
And I was like, no, he's not going to get a consequence. And she was like, well, he should get a consequence because he did something he wasn't supposed to.
First of all,
literally, that's what she told me. She was like, he should should get a consequence because he did something that he wasn't supposed to.
First
so
of all,
she was trying to give me back what we gave her last night because we were like telling her like, oh, you made a poor decision. So your poor decision has a consequence and you did something where you knew that you weren't supposed to do. Like you knew you weren't supposed to do it. And so when he did it, she was like, he should get a consequence because he basically knew that he wasn't supposed to put his foot on the table.
First of all, big bro. Okay. Let me start here. First of all, big bro, daddy don't get consequences because daddy sets
but see,
that's not
the type of parenting I think you want to set your grounds on. Because
look here, around here, my role
is big bro
as the provider, and I make sure everything is running here. Mm-hmm. I get grace.
You don't have to follow rules that you enforce?
No, I get grace. Mm. It was just when my knee was hurting. I had to stretch it out. I played basketball.
On the kitchen table where we put our food.
Okay. Correction.
It's crazy.
Which is true.
Crazy.
I put my foot on the kitchen table.
Like, hold on. Her and I both were in awe because we were Let
me finish. Yes, I did put my foot on the kitchen table, but I put it on top of her project. So it wasn't like touching the table. Okay.
It's your foot on the table. I don't think whether it was on top of a mat.
My foot was clean.
Or it doesn't matter. It was the kitchen table where
my
we
foot
eat.
Is clean. First of all, we don't eat here.
First of all, we do eat at the kitchen table.
Like
yes, we do.
Once a month.
If you're talking about like us eating together, we don't always eat together, but we definitely eat at the kitchen table.
Are you done?
No, I'm not done.
Are you done?
So we don't eat at the kitchen table?
Yeah, babe, we do.
No, I'm asking.
Yeah, we do.
Nobody eats at the kitchen table, Maurice?
She does, because she has to.
Okay, and you eat at the kitchen table at times. You eat at the kitchen table in the morning when you have breakfast.
But where I put my foot, nobody eats there.
Okay. Now, see, that shit that you do, that's annoying.
Okay.
That's annoying.
See, we started off fire. She was tired.
Don't touch me.
She was tired.
Don't touch me.
I'm giving her life.
Don't touch me.
So, what the rest of your week, Booskies? I'm sorry. The rest of your week, big bro.
Yeah, just parenting hard, gymming hard, wifing hard.
You're a womaning hard this week too, huh?
Womaning hard.
It was rough.
Just like all the things, dealing with that and having to do all of those things when you're not in the best mental state, like really trying to push through when your mental and your energy level is operating at a consistent 4.75 is really tough.
That's wild.
It's wild. I mean, you wouldn't know anything about that because as you stated when you were getting ready for work, it's nice being a man where I'm constantly riding a straight line.
Hormonally.
Yeah.
Mentally, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm all over the place.
Okay. But look here. Mentally and hormonally, I was bouncing between a 4.75 and a 5.2.
Yeah, okay.
But,
all right.
But because I'm big bro, I made it do what it do.
Talk your shit.
And I still pulled out a W for the week.
Okay, talk your shit, big bro.
Still pulled out a W for the week because that's what I do.
That's what big bro do, huh?
It's what big bro do. Okay. Ain't got time to complain about it. Ain't got time to whine about it. Nobody's going to listen anyway. No one's going to care anyway.
First of all.
So you just got to get in the trenches with your shovel and you dig. Okay, I'm tired. I'm over my rant. Sorry.
People care about her and they listen to her and they care.
Who?
Most notably is her daughter. Because her daughter like, Mom, what's wrong?
She asked me that when you went on the walk because I was laying in bed and I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to be able to get that nap before we record. And then she came to the door and she was like, Mom, are you okay? And I said, no. And she was like, are you sad? I said, a little bit. And she was like, are you embarrassed? I said, no. She was like, are you angry? I said, no.
She was going down emotions?
She was going down the emotions. And she was like, do you need huggies and kissies? And I was like, yes, I do. And she was like, okay. And so she came and she hugged me. And so like one of the things I did with her last week when she said she was sad, I gave her a hug. And I was shaking her like this. And I was like, just give me all of those negative feelings. I was like, Mommy's just going to absorb them all and then I'll get rid of them. And so when she came and gave me a hug, she was shaking me and she was like, just give them all to Fifi. Just give me all that sadness. I'll get rid of it for you. Just give it to me.
Y'all so cute. Meanwhile, y'all were like, Dad, take the sadness. carry
Well,
it with
you're
you.
supposed to dispose of it. You're not supposed to like.
Carry it.
You're not supposed to absorb it and keep it.
Carry it
You're
with
supposed
you.
to like take it, and then you're supposed to be like, okay, let me go get
Carry
rid
it
of
with
it.
you, Dad.
Okay,
Carry it with you, boo.
carry it with you.
Yeah.
No, but that was cute. And then like I also think that was just her way of like getting back into my room
know what?
because I had kicked her out like
Yeah,
3
I know.
times. So I think that was her way of getting back
Something
into
just
my
dawned
room.
on me. I just kind of made me upset. But
What?
okay.
What?
My week was cool.
No, what made you upset? I
I'll
want
talk
to hear
about
it.
it. I'll talk about it.
Okay. You know,
My week was cool. You know, a lot of positives. I'm trying to be positive. Gym is going great. Work was fairly smooth this week.
I didn't hear any complaining. So,
because you were asleep when I got home.
which it has been happening all week
Well, that's fine.
because you get home late now.
But that's how I set it up.
Yeah.
You know, so nothing really negative. I played basketball today for the first time in a long time.
How did your ankles feel?
Shout out to my boy McFly. My ankle ain't the problem.
Oh.
Okay, this knee has no lateral movement capabilities.
Your knee?
Can't do it.
No.
My left knee say go right. My right knee say where.
Oh, that's not. I wouldn't be playing those kind of games.
You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't be playing those kind of games.
So I really couldn't. I couldn't move like
You
I
couldn't
wanted to.
shuck and jive like you used
I
to.
couldn't do it. I couldn't.
You wasn't juking nobody, babe?
No.
You couldn't juke nobody?
Yeah, I was juking myself right out of my shoes. That's what happened.
You were juking yourself?
Right out of my shoes. Shout out to my boy McFly. He, you know, Mr. Clutch Shot. Look at once that man get going, you can't stop. Like
His shot?
You can't stop his shot when he get going.
That probably could take him.
Okay. First of all, he's like 2 feet taller than you. Okay, it would
Babe, you know I have to talk crap.
It would take all your energy just to lift your hand up.
I wouldn't try to block his shots.
Oh, and he blocked my damn shots.
I wouldn't. Why would I try to block his shots? He's like 10 feet taller than me. That would be futile.
And we was walking out and there was a guy in there working out, and McFly was like, "What do you think he's about 7'2"?" I looked over. I said, "God, no, that nigga's like 10 feet tall."
He wasn't 10 feet, Maurice. You're so silly. No, that nigga like 10 feet.
I've never seen anybody this tall in person. Like he looked like he should be starting center for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Oh my gosh.
That's how tall he was. I said, "Sir, like you know how like." Okay, put it this way. He was sitting on the flat bench for bench press, right?
Okay.
His knees were at a 145-degree angle. That's how tall. That's how tall he was. Okay.
He was height goals?
No, I don't want to be that tall.
You don't want to be that tall?
Because he ducked to get in every door.
I mean,
Too much
okay,
work.
that's not bad. Well, no, it would be bad because sometimes, like when you're really tall, their feet hang off of the bed, even when their head's all the way at the top.
He definitely wore a size 27 shoe, minimum.
That's crazy work. Like when I see shoes that are that big, I'm like, there's no way anybody's foot can fit in here.
Minimum.
That's crazy. Like those shoes are like this big.
I'm 5.
And that's crazy work.
I'm gonna put it this way. I'm 5'10". I felt like his legs were 5'10".
Bye, Marie. You're so silly.
Just his
I
legs.
felt like his legs were 5'10" each.
Yes. I felt like if I stood next to him, I looked like that picture of Kevin Hart standing next to Shaq.
That was funny.
That's how tall he is.
That was funny. My ear itch.
But yeah, it was a good week. You know, yeah, just
What
growth.
was some of your successes this week? What was the highlight of your week?
A highlight?
Well, damn, did you have to?
Yeah, I had to think
pause and-
about it.
Well, a highlight?
I didn't spaz out. I had a couple times where I wanted to spaz out and I didn't. Mainly at work. You know, Pastor Mike been getting me through some stuff.
That's good.
Shout out Pastor Mike. He don't even know I talked about him. He don't know who I am. But he been helping me. But that's what he wanted this ministry to do. So
Right.
it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's yeah.
What was the low light of your week?
Hold on. I'll tell you this. The highlight of my week was when I realized that I had already hit the number I need the gross, so I wouldn't have to work
Oh my gosh.
5 days.
Okay.
That's a highlight.
And then what was the low light?
The low light was Sunday morning when I left you and said I won't see her again till Thursday.
Bye, Demel. You saw me after that.
In passing.
In passing, yes.
Hey, boo.
Hey.
How you doing?
Good. That's it.
That's it.
That's
it. What was your highlight?
My highlight, Maurice, what?
Are you done?
I can't. I don't like you.
Are you done?
Because your highlight should always be me. No matter what.
Okay.
And your
my
low
highlight
was
my
when,
highlight
was when your child support payment hit.
was basically when my child support payment hit and I had some more money.
Y'all wild for that
I'm gonna
trend.
tell my mama that. I'm gonna be like, oh, my child support just hit. She gonna be like, what?
Yeah, y'all wild for that.
My child support.
Y'all really wild for that though. Like y'all
If you
really
guys
wild
don't
for
know,
that.
if there's this trend going around and it's like with like the stay-at-home moms or they're like in store and they're shopping and they're like, oh, my child support just hit, and the husbands are like, you mean my paycheck? And it's like time for that re-up.
Because you took full advantage of this week.
I did not. I only needed a few things.
You went out to eat 3 times on Thursday.
Listen, if somebody would have told me when I was a child or even a teenager that once I decided to have a family that I would spend 80% of my time cooking or trying to figure out what to cook for other people, I probably would have opted out.
Okay. What we got today?
I probably would have opted out.
What we got today?
No, I wasn't done. I didn't even say what the highlight of my week was. The highlight of my week was hitting a new gym PR. That was the highlight of my week.
I just thought about something again.
What?
First of all, I didn't say the first thing that triggered me. But you talking about, ma'am, I've been cooking.
What? You've been bulk cooking.
I've been bulk cooking all the other.
Okay, yeah, but that's
all
stuff
of the protein.
That's stuff that you and I eat, babe. She don't like eating prep every day,
and that's your problem.
You keep forgetting that she's 7. We can't expect her to eat prep every day like we do.
She needs protein.
We don't mind eating prep. She minds eating prep.
She needs her protein.
I can only feed her chicken, rice, and vegetables for so long before she's like, okay.
We mix it up. We throw some steak.
Had enough.
We throw some steak in there, some shrimp.
I was mixing it up. I was like, I'm gonna make her favorite. I'm gonna make chicken salad. And then she was like, and then what did she say the other day?
If I eat too much, she's like, it's gonna make my stomach hurt. I ate too much already.
She said, when I eat the same thing too many days in a row, she said, it starts to make my stomach hurt. And then she followed that up with, I'm not saying your cooking's not good. That's what she told me. I'm not saying your cooking's not good. I'm just saying that I can't eat the same thing too many days. Because if I eat the same thing too many days, Mom, then it makes my stomach hurt. And I was like, okay. Because when you think about it, you know, it's kind of like how you were with spaghetti before you made me stop making spaghetti, because you said you didn't like eating it for dinner. Then I would pack it for your lunch, and then it was leftovers and you have to come home and eat it again. And what did you say?
I got tired of eating spaghetti.
You got tired of eating spaghetti.
5 meals in a row because I don't like spaghetti.
You got tired of eating it. So that's how your daughter feels.
What we got today?
Okay? It feels the same way. No, you asked me a question and then
you just answered it.
Okay, no, I answered it and then you cut it off with something else. Oh, I forgot. You don't want me to be great anyway. It's cool. It's cool.
Okay. The highlight of her week was her gym PR. She hit 305 on squats this week, guys.
I did not hit. Well, it was that one, but that's not the one I was talking about.
Which one were we talking about?
But yes, I did hit 305 on my squat. It could be a little cleaner. But I was talking about my deadlift, which also could be a little cleaner. But yes, I hit 335 on my deadlift and 305 on my squat.
And I hit 150 on my deadlift this week.
You didn't deadlift this week.
I did 150.
You did not deadlift.
Well, you wasn't there. I tried to.
Maurice, why are you fibbing?
It's less than you. What's the matter? I can't tell you where I'm at, what my PRs are.
Because you don't deadlift.
I can't tell people. Okay. See?
Babe, what do you do? Are you talking about your stick-legged
my
deadlift?
Is 150. I'm not as strong as you. That's why you're a big bro. You just be sunny.
You should talk to your therapist about you doing this. You really should.
Oh, that's all right. I talked to old Dr. Will on Friday.
You should. I'm gonna let her know that.
Nah.
I'm gonna be like, this thing that he does, like this fake support thing, and then covers it up.
Support?
And then he covers it up with like a joke.
Oh, God.
I forget what that's called, what the mental terminology for that is.
I am your biggest supporter. I'll be hyping you up. Go best friend. That's my best friend. That's my best friend. Hey, what we got, best friend?
Okay, best friend. So if you press it, I'm going to sock you.
Y'all I see how she treat me.
I'm gonna sock you.
I see how she treat me.
You drive me to eat yogurt.
Do I?
Yes. Do it, and I'm gonna pinch you. Press it and I'm gonna pinch you.
What was I saying, babe?
I'm not gonna say anything because if you do it, if you press that button, I'm gonna pinch you.
I'm not gonna press it there.
No, I just wanted to talk about, independency in
Is that a
marriage. It is for me today. Independency. So independence in marriage.
Okay.
I feel like it's
Are you gonna
kind of like
this is something you're gonna start practicing? Because I feel like this could take us to another level. This is something you're gonna.
Reese, you wouldn't know what to do with your life if I didn't give it purpose.
Okay.
So we're not gonna act like
okay. Okay.
I give your life purpose. Okay.
Okay.
If you didn't feel like I needed you in any way, it wouldn't be good for your mental. So you can stop. You can stop. Okay. Because you don't want me around here acting like I don't need no man.
Okay. All right.
You see how fast I shut it down? You can't even take it.
Wow.
You can't even take it.
Whoa, pause. Whoa. Pause. Wait a minute.
What?
Wait a minute.
What?
So we're talking about independence in marriage.
Modern independence in marriage.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know what this means.
Just like modern independence in today's relationships. Like I feel like
you're gonna have to help me out with this because I'm surrounded by dependence.
Okay. Really? Okay. You see, the thing is, as a woman who knows the type of power she holds in her relationship, I try to be very, very cautious of how I utilize such power because I know, and I think my husband knows
What?
that
What I know?
at any given moment, I could break him down to size. Okay?
Oh, is that a threat?
At any given moment, I can break him down to size.
Is that a threat?
It's not a threat. Okay?
Are you trying to promise? What are you trying to say? Okay, good. Look here. Don't let this big bro shit go to your head. Okay. Cause we ain't even got into the episode. And big bro got your ego sitting high.
Listen.
Yes, big bro.
You know how if whenever I feel like threatened or like you coming for me, I always have to shut it down.
I try to come. Never mind.
Yeah. Why you gotta go there?
Sorry. Let's talk. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Is that all you think about?
When I look at you, yes. It's one or the other. It's that or anger. It's nothing in between. There's nothing in between.
I don't think that's good either. You might want to talk to your therapist about that.
Doctor, she ain't ready for that.
So you lied because you said every time you look at me with such like admiration and love and passion. And you're like, I'm so grateful to have her in my life.
I do.
That's not what you just said, that you either look at me like you want to smash.
I do.
Or smash me into a wall.
It's so much admiration. And then my brain swells up. And then that blood rushes down to my other head. And then the focus transitions. So yeah, modern independence in marriage.
Oh my gosh!
So help us out.
I can't.
So that's tell people what this is.
I think it's something that's also is. It's not something that, well, I don't want to say like mindful or whatever, but essentially just like pursuing your own individual hobbies, your own individual growth.
Being your own self?
Like basically being your own self, not trying to be so enveloped in one another, but still having a separate and independent identity within a relationship.
I think that's crucial in general, just for the relationship to last. Because if Lord knows, if you're my only identity, we have some trouble around here. Because the second you leave, I'm like,
that's why I told you to go to therapy, because that was. I'm teasing you.
People, I try to get serious.
I'm teasing you.
She wants the petty version of her husband so bad.
Because it's fun.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's where the biggest differences are in relationships from yesteryear.
You think that people are prioritizing those things over relationships?
What their independence? Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. And I think especially from the female perspective, that is definitely a thing. Like valuing and prioritizing self-growth, freedom, finances, education, children. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
All right.
What do you think?
About what?
About independence and growth.
I think it's necessary.
Why?
So you ain't got to be the only one doing shit.
What do you mean? From what perspective? Because
I'm surrounded by dependents.
Because
I'm surrounded by dependents. You depend on me. The dog depends on me.
But what in what aspect do I depend on you? Because if you're referring to
child support check.
Yes, financially
And emotionally?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Well, excuse out of
your emotional support is in conjunction with the emotions that I have, that I process, that I deal with.
I was trying to say, I call you a problem.
You add to my emotional bank. I don't depend solely on you for emotional stability is what I'm saying.
All right. I guess I don't add no value to your life.
I literally just said that you add to my emotional bank.
That's cool.
Because like how you said, if you had to solely depend on me.
That's cool.
Really, DeMille?
I'm hurt now.
Okay, well I can't help that.
I want to.
And this is why you can't. This is why you can't fully emotionally depend on one person.
I'm just playing.
Because people are unstable. People are unstable.
Yes, you're very unstable.
Yes, and if I had to rely solely on you for just emotionally,
look here, right?
I would starve.
Okay. First of all, that's a bit much. That's okay. You know that's.
I'm sorry. I'm tired.
Come on now. I know I have my periods and times where
Yes, you have your periods.
This has been. I know that there are times in which I'm solely focusing on my turmoil and my trauma and what I'm processing, that I don't see the world of our marriage outside of my own personal struggles, and that I am trying to get better at, but I think that's just part of life. Sometimes I get tunnel vision because because in my mind I'm carrying the weight and the potential success or failure of so much on my shoulders that I don't always see outside of myself to see what it is that you're portraying or what it is that you need. I admit that. I'm trying to get better. But sometimes
life is a journey.
Sometimes life be life and I can't always.
Absolutely.
But, at the same time, I think I do the same thing in a different way, whereas I choose not to put certain emotions on you or certain stresses on you so that I don't add to your daily load. So I think it's kind of like it's kind of like we both do it to each other in a different way. And I do think part of that is about us trying to be both emotionally self-sufficient and independent in that way. Now, I don't think that when it comes to the definition of what modern independence of marriage is, I don't think that we necessarily hit all of these points. Like I'm not autonomous. I need you.
Autonomous?
I need you.
Okay.
I need you. Like I could do it.
You want me.
I could do it. But I don't want to do it.
Right.
It's like it's not.
My presence makes it better.
Right.
My presence
now,
makes it better.
Now the financial freedom part, that's me. That's me. That's me. And I mean, as hard as it is to admit, you are. 23 years, you are a part of my identity.
Absolutely.
You are definitely a part of my identity.
I'm not your identity. No, but I am, yes.
You're a major
I make
part
up
of
the
it,
fabric
right?
of your identity.
Now, my personal growth, my growth journey that I have been on, it's been something I've been doing solely. Now I give you insight to what I'm feeling or where my life is heading and where I'm going to make sure that to make sure that the direction I'm walking still aligns with the direction you want me to walk or
where I would like to go.
Right.
Yeah, because that's important.
That's important.
Because if you keep going down the yellow brick road,
right,
and I want to go down the teal,
right,
we're gonna have
So
have
I
some
would say,
issues.
like, out of the list, with the list being personal growth, identity, autonomy, financial freedom, emotional self-sufficiency, I would say that I am attached to you permanently when it comes to identity, and autonomy.
Okay.
Those two things for sure. Now, the other three, personal growth, financial freedom, and emotional self-sufficiency, those are things that I do try to keep in-house and regulate myself. And I do believe that I've done a fairly good time, a fairly good job. And the same can be said for you. I don't really think, you don't really come to me with emotional things until it's like on you. And a lot of times, when I do pick up on it, I can see the shift in your demeanor and in your character, and sometimes like your shoulders just hang low. I said, my baby need a hug. My baby need cuddles.
I need hugsies and kissies.
She ain't gotta talk about it. She just want me to hold her. She just want to hold her.
Sometimes
it's just like sometimes I tell you, sometimes I just need to cry. Let me get a cry.
Like today when you laid on my chest and I just rubbed your head and gave you kissies.
And I almost went to sleep.
I know. I was like, you got to walk the dog.
So let me get up.
You have shit to do.
Because you don't put me in your bosom. And now I'm sleepy.
Yeah, but I think here's the thing too. I think that each person in a relationship should have some sense of independence.
Okay.
In the relationship, right? Because like how you said, like for even though we were just joking or whatever, me being able to depend on you solely for emotions or emotional support or emotional stability or, like finances, all of which could be kind of dangerous to not only put all that responsibility and load on one person, right? But now you're also leaving somebody in control of major aspects of your life, right? So, I mean, yes, I depend on you financially, but I depend on you financially, but I also do make my own money.
Do you? I'm just playing. She do.
I was like, excuse me, sir?
You make a little odds in here.
But the point is, the point is that you have
access to something that you've created,
that I've created.
So you still have something on the side that's still yours.
That's still something. Yes. So it's like, yes, of course, I depend on you to make sure my bills are paid. You know what I'm saying?
And look here, if you ever want that to change, I will not let my ego stop you. Okay. I will not let my ego stop you if you ever want that to change. Okay.
But when it comes to things like your personal development, your emotional boundaries, identity preservation, stuff like that, it's important for you to have your own thing, and it's important for me to have my own thing. I love that you have something that is just for you that I can kind of like peer into or that you can share with me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to be glued to you at the hip. Now, I do like that aspect of our relationship sometimes where we're just kind of like intertwangled, right? But I also enjoy the fact that you're like, hey, I'm going to go hang out with my friends. Do you? Like, that's great. You should do that. But go hang out with your friends. Go have lunch with your friends. Go take a day with your boys. Like, you should do those things.
Look here. The part of me that gets excited and you be like, oh, I'm going to go to my sister's house for a weekend. I'll be like, are you taking your daughter too?
See, now that's where we differ.
I was like,
because when you go solo. No, when I go, I always got to take the kid.
No, I don't always go solo. I take the kid sometime. I don't mind taking the kid, but it's like, but I do like that. I do like that time away. But like I've said before, by day 2, I need my wife back.
Yeah,
I'm like, look here.
Yeah,
either you come home or I'm coming to get you. Because you didn't have 48 hours without me. Right. That's enough.
Right.
I done smelled your pillow.
Okay, DeMille.
I done cuddle with your moo-moo.
Okay.
It's time for you to get your ass home.
The fact that he's not lying though is the part that's crazy.
Look here. When my wife leaves for more than a day, I put her moo-moo on her pillow and I cuddle with it. I don't
literally
care.
come back home and my moo-moo is on my pillow.
I'm not ashamed of it. I'm my wife. Her moo-moo has her smell, has her essence. And that's what I be needing at night to sleep well. I cuddle with that pillow, that moo and be drooling all over it. Be knocked out.
I can't.
But like you were saying, it is important for each party, each side to have their own thing, right? So
and to pursue different things,
right.
Like pursue things beyond like what your title is. I know for me, when I first became a stay-at-home mom, like I think it was, it was cool. It was nice. It
was a lot of naps.
In the beginning, it felt like a vacation. I was like, okay, I could do this. I could do this because she wasn't in school.
It was a lot of naps.
Yeah, we made our own schedule because I did homeschooling with her at the beginning. Like, it was cool. I was I can do this.
2 or 3 days in the same pajamas.
I could do this. And then when things started to like
pick up,
she got a
schedule.
Then she had a schedule, and then she had school, and then you had work, and then there was the house, and then there was the keeping up the house, like running the errands, the bill, like all of that stuff. That's when I feel like that's when I got like knee deep in it, and then just being a wife and a mom really just became my personality, and that's when I started to feel like, okay, I don't have an identity for myself anymore. And I remember being out with, I forget who it was. I think it was my cousin. And we went to a friend's house, and her friend's son had asked me, he was like, oh, what do you do, Kainisha? And I just responded, and I was like, oh, I'm a stay-at-home mom. Like, just like that. And my cousin was like, you do more than just stay at home. Like, you're a stay-at-home mom, but you also run a small business. But because I don't think of myself like that, like, because when I decided to stay home, when people ask, like, what do you do? Like, I'd be like, oh, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and then my sister was like, you don't just stay home.
You just,
like,
I put it down for my family.
You literally, like, run 2 small businesses, and you're a podcaster now, and you do content. Like, there's so many other things, but I don't view those things. You know what I'm saying? And but when I sit back and I think about it, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I do more than just am being a stay-at-home mom or being your wife. And I think that's where trying to regain some of my independence like I had once before, because my independence for me needs to be beyond just providing financially. But I also realized too that a lot of my identity was also wrapped up in like my work brain.
Yeah.
my work brain.
I tried to tell you.
It wrapped up in my work brain.
I tried to tell you.
That's the part of my identity that I liked for myself, because I always said like work is for me because I genuinely enjoyed what I did.
Crazy,
you know what I'm saying?
Crazy.
So when like now how I'm trying to really get back into carving out things that are just for me, and saying
You're
no.
You're trying to? No, you're doing it.
Okay, well, I'm doing it, So, but it puts me in a different headspace of making sure that I prioritize things.
But to that point, I will say I applaud you for that, because I know how hard it is.
Yeah.
Right? Because for me, for the longest time, I used to always, and I still do a little bit now, I still struggle with justifying buying myself something, right? I always do this thing in my head where I'm like, well, yeah, I want that, but do I really need it? Because
but why are you asking yourself that?
Because let me explain my process, right? So I would say that to myself, and I'd be like, well, my daughter needs this, and then I got this coming up. Oh, well, you know what? I haven't done nothing for my wife for a while. So like, because I do try to show you that I appreciate what you do, because like I've said many times, I don't want to do what you do.
Yeah.
No, zero entrance. Nada.
Okay, we get the point.
Nothing. She would be at daycare. I'm not doing it.
Back to Mel. She would be at daycare.
I'm not doing it, right? So I do think that for that point, like carving, so I've learned to like feed myself in different ways, right? So at first it was like committing to the gym, and it was like, okay, no, I'm gonna play my video games, or I'm gonna do this on Saturday. Like I remember I used to always have a hard stance of like, if I work Sunday, I'm not doing anything Saturday.
Right.
Like, I don't care what you have planned.
Right.
This is my last day. I'm going to do what I want to do. And if you have plans that I'm not okay with, well, just understand that, hey, because my brain used to work, hey, Friday is family day. I'm going to spend all day Friday with you guys.
So y'all can leave me the hell alone.
I'm going to do what y'all want to do. I'm going to put my smile on. I'm going to take y'all to these restaurants, because Lord knows my girls like to eat out. They like to order something. Okay?
We like restaurant food.
Okay. I'm gonna do that.
We like the atmosphere of not being at home.
I'm gonna do that, and then I may give you a little time Saturday morning, but come Saturday about noon, Daddy shuts it down. From noon until it's time for me to clock in on Sunday, it's about me. And so that used to be a hard line. It's not as hard line as it used to be because
our schedules,
because of our schedule.
Yeah.
Not only because our schedules are different, and because it just, through my therapy and all that, like I really do appreciate that. Finding out that a lot of my happiness comes from being with you.
Yeah.
I don't want to give you too much credit, but it does come from being with you, because it does, like, you have like part of the, like, another, like, one of the points here, like, you have developed a space to where I can be vulnerable with you to a degree. I can't say I can be fully vulnerable, but I can be vulnerable with you to a degree. And I do also understand that if I need to be optometrist or be solo or have time to myself, you're willing to give that to me because you understand. So I do feel like we've done a good job of, like, balancing out each other's needs with our own individual personalities, all the while still trying to throw in the work-life balance, also trying to throw in our self-care, and at the same time being supportive to each other and what we need from each other.
Yeah. And I also think, I know that some people think that if you both are kind of like doing your own thing, it can kind of create space. And you maybe like grow apart, because what's the point if he's going to do his own thing and I'm going to do my own thing? But in my mind, I feel like that makes things like stronger. I feel like that brings us together because
we have something to talk about.
We have something to talk about, right? And not only that, it's like if there's only one person in the relationship who has their sense of independence and who's like pursuing new goals, who's trying new things, who's on a fitness journey, and then if you're not and you're over there and you're not doing anything that's just for yourself, of course it's going to feel like distance is growing because you see your person over there and it looks like they're on this path that doesn't include you at all. Because you haven't created a path for yourself. So now that's going to feel like distance. So that's why I think it's really important that we don't have to grow apart, because my biggest thing is we are individual people who are making a choice to be in a relationship.
And that's all marriage is.
That's
it.
How
you make a marriage last.
I'm choosing
to stay.
I'm choosing to be here. I'm choosing to be
you're
here.
Making it easy.
But just because I'm choosing to be here doesn't mean that I have to sacrifice so much of myself that I'm just unrecognizable to myself. Right. Because I also truly, in my hearts of hearts, believe that the relationship that I'm choosing to be in is also growing me into the person that I desire to be.
Oh, okay. No, she said something nice about me, y'all.
Oh. Because
I am allowing her to metamorphose into the lovely butterfly she wants to be. And she is going to spread her wings.
I know that for me, I could be good on my own.
Oh, okay, hold on now.
I could. If I needed to be, I could be good on my own. I enjoy my time. Listen here. Most people may not even, some people will only understand this. Only a small group of people will understand this. I enjoy me.
Me too.
I enjoy myself.
Oh, I enjoy you too.
I don't have a problem going to a movie by myself, to go take myself out to a restaurant. I have no problem being in the house by myself. I have no problem being locked in a closet by myself with my Kindle and a cup of tea. It is enjoyable. Okay. Okay? I don't have a problem with myself.
I will say this.
But I love that I get to cohabitate with you.
I will say this. I have that to a degree.
I know. And that's where we differ.
After about 36 hours.
You're over it.
I need my wife.
You're over it.
Where's my person?
Like, I do. I miss you guys, like everything like that. Like, I love you guys to death. But I also have never really had a problem.
But this tea is good. It's doing it for me.
I've never had a problem being in a quiet space by myself. That's never been a problem. I am extremely grateful and blessed that I don't have to like live that way, you know. Mm-hmm. But that just, just going back to say that I enjoy having my sense of self. And I think that's what it is. Like, everybody needs to have their sense of self, my sense of self-worth, and what I know that I can do for myself, what I know that how I can enrich someone else's life through my knowledge, through like me being a friend, through whatever the case is, like I like having something that I have built, or something that I know only I can give. You know what I'm saying? Like that sense of independence. I love that you're on your own journey with health and fitness. I'm on my own journey with health and fitness. And because we're on our individual journeys, we have things to talk about because we're both on two completely different paths.
Completely different paths. Yeah, you trying to move the rock mountain. I'm
trying to be big bro.
you trying to move the mountain. I'm just trying to walk up.
See? Two different things.
So give me your thoughts about this. This is the statement. It says the strength of a modern marriage isn't measured by how intertwined two lives are, but how much freedom each partner feels to grow individually while choosing every day to grow together.
Yeah.
I think we do a good job of that.
I think we're on the path of that.
I do think.
I do. I really do.
Because we come together and then we do our thing and then we come back
we come back together,
and we talk about it, and then sometimes I will say this, we have not necessarily, you more so than me are not necessarily afraid to try and like venture out, do more new things. But we're also honest with each other that when we come back and talk about it, like, yeah, I tried it, but that ain't for me.
Because I'm the person. For instance, I came to him and I was like, one day I was like, babe, I just want you to know that I would be completely and utterly fine with finding remote jobs, selling our house, all of our stuff, putting it all in an RV, and we go on the road. He was like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
That's not happening.
He's like, that's not. And I was like, babe, but what, my thing is, I remember how I kept telling you, I was like, but what if we just do something different? What if we just do something so drastic?
We're doing something different now.
I know. But what if we just like do something so different from what our upbringing was, and just like balls to the walls it. But he's very much if it's not going to make sense initially, and if we can't plan that all the way out and put it on an Excel spreadsheet and put all the P&Ls on there, and then put like, if this shit goes haywire, what's going to be the backup plan? It's not going to happen. And me, I'm over here like, listen, life is a journey.
Yeah, okay.
I know it's probably easier said than done, but I just feel like as long as we got each other, I mean, we gonna make something happen, and we got enough family around the world. I'm really convinced that I don't have to be homeless or hungry.
Yeah.
So I'm just, like part of me is just like balls to the walls, but and that's where the balance is. You reel me in.
I really do feel like, and I think you will agree, that independence in marriage can coexist. Like you can be independent of one another and still be a collective at the same time.
Right.
There's ways to achieve that if both parties are on board, it is more than attainable.
Yeah.
More than possibly attainable.
But you know what? This just made me think of it. This just made me think of something else. I think it's also important to like encourage and support your partner in doing something that is for them. Right? Because if you are doing all the things, right? Like you go to work, you pay the bills, you
can pay the bills.
Bye. You have your own hobbies, you go out with your friends and stuff like that. And then I'm just home and I'm just like not doing anything.
That's too much pressure on me.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. I would think you would be want to be the person to be like, babe,
do something.
Get a friend. I don't think the approach should be do something.
Get a friend.
I don't think.
Happy. Join a class.
Bye. But that's what I'm saying. Like, babe, is there something you always wanted to do? Like, did you want to go back to school? Because I think that would be a great time. Like, it's a great time for you to pick up some classes since you have some time at home. Or, have you, what's one of your favorite hobbies as a kid? Like, you want to revisit that. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, but doing something for yourself. And I think, too, what really, made me think about it, I remember after having Fee and I was going through my postpartum, I had the overwhelming feeling of missing myself. And I remember sitting in the backseat with her while she was in her car seat, and I was posting on Facebook, and like I'm looking at her face, and I'm like, oh, my baby, like love her, love the whole thing, sitting in the backseat with my baby. But I remember just overwhelmingly feeling like I miss me. Like it was a legitimate feeling that who I was so far gone, and she was only like 8 weeks old or something. But I just remember feeling like, damn, like what was it like before this? You know what I mean? And I remember posting that. I remember posting that, and all my friends, like coworkers, friends, everybody was like, we know exactly how you feel. But it will pass. You'll be okay once everything settles in.
Did it pass?
Eventually. But I'm still working on it 7 years later. 7 years later. You're still working on it. But that's why I think it's so important, because, I mean, for both men and women, but I do think especially for women, you have to have a sense of self.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
and I think for us, I'm telling you, I really do, in retrospect, I really do feel like it was a godsend. That time where you went back to work and I was hurt. I got hurt at work, so I was home. And so I had her. And so like I kind of went into dealing with some of what you were dealing with, right? Because like I think she was 4 months when you went back to work?
4
months. And like, so she wasn't really crawling. She wasn't really moving. So so like my first month home with her, I was like, oh, this is a breeze. Put her in the swing. Get her some tummy time.
Feed her every couple hours.
Right, get her some tummy time. We taking naps together. It's doing good. And then by month 6, when she was crawling, I said, I don't know what I'm gonna do with her because she won't sit still.
And then you had the laundry, and the house,
and then she started stealing my food. No matter how much food I gave her, she was still my food. And I was like, well, the baby got to eat, so I guess I'm just not meant to eat.
The baby got to eat.
Because she didn't want nothing. But I do feel like that time gave me like the perspective on like, no, it's important that, because now I was starting to feel what you felt like. Look, I need some time.
Yeah, like just being here all day doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over.
Like let me
live.
At least I will say this. At least when she was like 1. Maybe a little over to 1 when I could actually take her out, when I could take her to the park and stuff like that. That got a little bit better because it wasn't just always in the house. But my dude, like you would come home, I'd be like, oh, thank God. I remember I used to call you, look here. Your schedule said you off at 7. You need to be at this door by 8:15. I don't care that you was with a client. I don't care that you had a meeting.
I don't really care what was going on. You need to be home.
Either you here by 8:15 or we on our way to you.
I'm gonna drop your baby off, and then I'll meet y'all at home eventually.
I'm gonna start. I don't. You remember I told you that? I said I'm gonna just start meeting you at the time you're supposed to clock out with your baby, and then we can just meet back at home because you think I'm playing, because you need to clock out.
That's how I felt.
You know what I'm saying?
Except she was more newborn.
You're right. Yeah, you were.
And where she didn't know how to go to sleep at night.
But she still don't.
Yeah. And guess who still gets up?
I gotta work. So, but
I gotta work.
I'm saying like, so I understand that, and I do think that we are a prime example that open communication, mutual support, scheduling time apart and time together is important. Having our individual things that work together, works well with us. And I just feel like that we've done a good job of balancing out lives to where we can do this thing well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I agree. I just don't want you to lose yourself, and I just don't want to lose
I'm
mine.
not. Because I'm in the gym.
I ain't going nowhere, baby.
Okay.
I'm trying to be big bro.
Okay, big bro. Okay, big bro. Okay, big bro.
Listen, guys. The whole point to say all of this
is to say she big bro.
It's to say it. No, the whole point in all of this
she don't want a little dog. She want a big dog.
Is I think if everyone had more of the concept of feeling like they don't have to lose themselves and they feel that they have the freedom to be themselves and continue to do things that make them happy in their relationship, that you could have a successful relationship. That your relationship would feel more fulfilling because you're still doing you. You know what I mean? But the icing on the cake is that you have someone who is genuinely interested in the things that you're interested in. And even if they're not,
they're in your corner.
They're in your corner.
And
it's
that's the
support.
Thing. You should not be or trying to grow with someone who isn't your biggest cheerleader.
Right. So I think that's like friendship. I think that's what we just described, friendship. Because think about a friendship, right?
Like you my bestie.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's the friendship foundation.
And your bestie.
The friendship foundation. There it is.
Oh, Lord.
There it is. The friendship foundation.
And your bestie be getting mad when I call you my bestie, but it is what it is. Because I'm closer to you than she'll ever be.
I know, but I've kind of known her.
Yeah.
Longer.
But I've been in you.
I think that was unnecessary, but it was.
But it was the truth.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Guess it was.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's head on into hour two.
What
do we have today?
Well, I don't know. Probably some mess.
Some what?
Some mess.
Let's see.
Some mess. We got some mess today.
What's this one? Let's see. What do we have today? Am I the asshole for telling my fiance that I won't help pay the mortgage?
Yes. I want to hear it.
You don't even know what the story is.
Because I need help.
It says, for some background, I'm a 29-year-old female and my fiance, who's 30, we've been together for 10 years. We had a baby back in 2020 and I lost my job around the same time. Our lease to our apartment was up and my grandma offered for us to move in with her. So we did. We basically had our own little apartment rent-free. That's living a life.
Mm-hmm.
I had thrown the idea of going to school out there and everyone agreed it was a good idea. My fiance paid for it and my grandma watched the baby while I went to class. I graduated this semester. I did part-time for a couple of semesters. My fiance has been making $90K a year for the past couple of years and $70K when he first moved in. He's saved a good amount of money. We agreed to wait until we got married until I finished school and we could buy a house together. We've been looking at houses more seriously for the past couple of months and found one we both loved. We started talking to a mortgage broker, and that's when he dropped the bomb on being him and only him on the mortgage and the deed. He said that I wouldn't have anything to do with it. I didn't say anything in the meeting, but afterwards I told him that I thought we were buying the house together and I'd pay half the mortgage. He said that I would be paying half the mortgage, but my name just wouldn't be on it. So I told him that would mean I'd have no right to the house, and he said, I know. He said since he saved the 40% down, that it's only fair that he has all rights to the house in case we decided to end things. I told him that if that's what he wants to do, then I'm not paying the mortgage. I said that this isn't a partnership, and if he wants his own place, that's fine, but I'm not paying for it. He called me a bitch, saying that he paid for everything for the past few years, including my schooling. I told him that I stayed home and watched our child, so we didn't have to pay for daycare, and that ended up saving us tons of money since I would have been the only able to work part-time. He said he didn't care and that I need to pay for half since I already agreed to it. So, am I the asshole for refusing to pay half the mortgage?
No.
That's wild.
I was on the side at the beginning.
Shut up. I was on the side at the beginning.
But when I got the details, that's wild. First of all, let me say this.
No, what's wild is he actually told her the reason why he wasn't putting her on the house.
Okay.
I understand where he's coming from, but I don't.
I understand where he's coming from, but it's wild.
Yeah, it is wild.
Let me say this. One, apparently you've had a child with this woman.
Okay. They're engaged to be married.
You got to engage to be married, right? Regardless of who's putting the money down, once you're married, whether she's on the deed or not,
It's communal property.
Especially if she's been helping you make payments and she can prove that.
If her money goes towards the household.
So your logic is already flawed, right? Now, I understand you not wanting to, you believe you're protecting yourself because he probably feels like, look, I've saved the 40% down, but
we lived with my grandmother.
Right, true. But he's saying, not only did I save the 40% to put down, I've also carried you in your schooling for the last however many years.
Yeah.
So that is probably his reason. He's felt like, well, this is like, in his mind, he's thinking, well, the least you could do is just let the house be in my name.
Absolutely not. This is a purchase that first of all, listen here.
I didn't say I agree with him.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is when we get into this whole thing where people are cohabitating together, they are procreating together, now we're engaged to be married, I'm always going to be under the assumption that any major steps in our life that we take and we're still together, we're going to be doing it together. So there's not going to be, you're just the one who saved the 40% down payment. Okay, so you proved to me that you can save money, manage money, and pay for our household. Thank you. Now I feel more secure. But what you're not going to do is try to make it seem like what you do is yours and it's all just yours and pretend like whatever I did do to contribute for you to get there is nothing. Because you act like that you were just able to go out there and save your 40% down payment, making your $90K a year like you was out here also paying bills.
Right.
Because you weren't. The only way you were able to save that so fluidly is because we didn't have any major responsibilities outside our child, because my grandmother allowed us to live there rent free, which also means you probably were paying nothing but crumbs.
Which means you should have more than that 40% down.
Right.
My thing is this. I feel like I would question his reason for wanting to marry her.
Oh, it's probably because they had the baby. It's the facade.
Is it the baby?
It's probably the baby.
Do you want a wife or do you want to be a husband? Or
they had the baby, right? And now he's feeling like big cheese. Because he feeling himself because he's financially on a good plateau or on a good platform.
Because of her grandmama.
Exactly.
I'm married to the wrong family.
Because things is going to get real when that mortgage hit, all the utilities, your car, your baby, your wife, and then just daily stuff.
Look here, ma'am, you're not the asshole. Because I'm not.
And he's only making $90K?
Hold on, let me say something.
Wait a minute. I'm like, wait a minute, because he only making $90K?
Okay.
Because I see how six figures go. Stop it. Like he's gonna have to pipe down a little bit.
Look here. This is wild.
That's crazy work. That's crazy work that he would say the least
you could do
is let me have that.
And then called her a bitch. Damn, the mother of your child.
I think Audacity is like 99% off. So everyone's buying it. Like everyone's getting Audacity because it's so cheap. Audacity went down, so it's like super cheap now. So like everyone has it. And obviously he bought like extra of the Audacity.
Yeah. Okay.
Crazy work. Okay. Am I the asshole for telling my mother-in-law that she made her choice when she chose to keep seeing my husband's ex? Okay. I'm a 33-year-old female. My husband, Tom, who's 35, have been no contact with most of his family for 3 years. Within those 3 years, I've had twin boys, which has made my mother-in-law try to get back in contact with us. There's a lot of history, but here's a brief summary of why Tom and I are no contact at all and resolves around Tom's ex, who we'll call Talia. So I'm an Indian American and Tom is white. He comes from a pretty traditional family and grew up in a small town. Talia was mother-in-law's best friend's daughter, and they were the small town romance everybody envied. However, upon meeting in college, Tom and I clicked on a platonic level. And to be honest, I didn't even have feelings for Tom until our 4 dates in. I guess you could say that he had an emotional affair, but he never did anything physically romantic until he broke up with Talia. Talia, of course, remained in contact with his family since she had been, according to the mother-in-law, the daughter she always wanted. Keep in mind, Tom has a sister, but Talia is more of a homemaker, while my sister-in-law, who is an absolute angel, and I have always been more career-focused. Talia had been at every holiday, family gathering, and get-together since the very start of Tom and I's relationship. And at first, I paid it no mind. I was civil to Talia because my mother-in-law made it clear Talia mattered to her, despite Talia's blatant distaste and disrespectful attitude towards me. That changed at my wedding. We had 2. My parents footed the bill for both. The dress code was simple. Aside from the obvious no white/wedding party colors rule, nobody was supposed to wear red. I am well aware that red means you have slept with the groom, but more importantly, red is a bridal color in my culture. I wore a red langa, I think that's how you say it, and sari to my Indian wedding, which she wore in eggshell off-white dress to, keep in mind, white is worn at funerals to represent purity in my culture. That got my aunts and cousins talking, but I still had a blast since I really didn't care. I did care when she showed up to my American ceremony in a floor-length apple red gown with a slit going straight up her leg. It was a bridesmaid's dress and it violated the dress code. My sister-in-law, along with Tom, went to tell her to change. She did leave after having a hushed argument and came back in a tea-length green gown. I assumed she wanted to see if she could get away with it. Apparently, my aunts saw right through that too, which meant Talia was subjected to stares, whispers, and backhanded giggle fits throughout my whole American ceremony. It made Talia feel embarrassed, and she cried to my mother-in-law, who went to me and told me to, quote unquote, keep my kind in line. To this, I crossed my arms and told her that maybe Talia should have stayed in her lane, that she knew not to wear red for multiple reasons, but mostly cultural reasons. And it wasn't my fault that my family was shaming her. It isn't my fault that she became the fodder for gossip and gaggle of the family. Those were the consequences of her actions. Tom and my sister-in-law backed me up, and my mother-in-law left with Talia before the dessert. The next day, there was a social media post from Talia crying about how she was exiled from her best friend's wedding because the bride was so jealous. I made a post back telling her that she wore red, knowing how inappropriate it was, how her best friend is her ex, and to not sugarcoat what she had did. I then tagged my mother-in-law in a separate post with screenshots of Talia's post and told her that this was the last straw and that I have been disrespected by Talia from the very beginning of our relationship, and that now that I was her daughter-in-law, she needed to keep Talia away from family events and holidays since she doesn't respect my husband and I. I didn't care if they still went on their weekly shopping sprees and day spas. Just keep her away from Christmas and barbecues. Talia removed her post after being publicly called out. My mother-in-law was good on this compromise until 3 years ago, after Talia came to Thanksgiving with a pie and a plastered smile, a Thanksgiving that I was hosting. She said something along the lines of, my mother-in-law invited me and I wanted to make sure my mother-in-law could actually eat something since I know you tend to cook ethnic food. I slammed the door in her face and went over to my mother-in-law and told her that she could also leave with Talia, who I just slammed the door on.
Good.
Tom looked at his mom, who had this deer caught in headlights look. She tried to sputter out excuses, and my father-in-law tried to defend my mother-in-law, but Tom stood firm. He said that she had lost access to him and any extension of him since they continuously choose Talia. My in-laws left and we haven't spoken since. Fast forward to last week, I got a text from an unknown number and it was my mother-in-law. She said she saw a picture of the boys from a mutual friend's post and wanted to reconcile. She said she'd keep Talia away this time and that ever since she got cut off, she's been in minimal contact with Talia anyway. I told her as much, saying that I saw BS when I smelled it and that she made her choice. I told Tom about it and asked if he missed his family, and he just shrugged and said that he didn't care, and it's been relieving not to have to deal with his mom and have her around. But I have since received texts from my brother-in-laws and their wives and my father-in-law begging for a second chance. She's always wanted to be a grandmother, and I do feel like I'm robbing her of that chance. Her other sons have not had children yet, and my sister-in-law also cut her off when we did. But you can't undo a nearly decade of disrespect with wishes and wants. And Talia is still in the picture, so I'm skeptical about how long the promise will last. I feel like I'm being callous, but there are so many stories I can tell about Talia's disregard for Tom's boundaries and mind, and I don't want to welcome a storm into my house by opening up the gates. So am I the asshole for telling my mother-in-law that she made her choice after she kept my husband's ex around?
Not at all. And shout outs to Tom for sending him to his mom. Mom,
She said Tom stood firm.
Sit your ass down.
Tom was like, listen here.
Tom, my type of guy.
We're done. I can just, I played that whole scene in my head at dinner. Tom walked up and hit his mom and he was like, you know what? We're done.
You gotta go.
We're done. You're done with me. Any extension of me, Dad, take her home.
You're done.
That was it.
You get out of my house.
That was it. Because what you're not going to do, she's not my girlfriend anymore. She is my wife.
Hey.
I need you to roll on out.
Look here.
And he already going into a different multicultural. Yeah. So he knows.
Right.
Tom he better play his cards right. He better play his cards right.
Because Tom's gonna end up he's gonna end up somewhere on that reservation by himself.
Bye.
As someone who has had to stand up and say, look here, this is who I've chosen. You either with it or you ain't. But
you either with me or against me.
But you gonna respect her. And if you can't respect her, you gotta go. I stand firmly on that. This is my choice.
I'm gonna stand behind him on his shoulder like this and be like,
I don't know what it is about these moms like this that don't understand that once your son has made a choice, regardless of your feelings, you have to honor and respect that choice.
Yeah.
Because if he's made that choice, that woman is in his ear more than you will ever be in his ear.
Yeah.
And if you keep poking the bear,
you play stupid games.
You win stupid awards.
You win stupid rewards.
Now you want to be grandma. And then you got to be grandma from afar.
Yeah, and you don't like it. And I think that's the part that they don't really be thinking about.
They don't.
It's like when your kids go off and get married and they get partners and you try to keep up the whole you don't like their partner. Mm-hmm. That's fine. But just think about like it's your child and their partner and their kids. Mm-hmm. So if you don't like my partner, what makes you think you're going to be around here up in these kids' face? Like, I don't want to keep you from your grandchildren, but you also need to be an adult and be respectful.
And my thinking is this. If I'm the woman in the situation, if you don't like me, by extension, you can't like my kids.
Yeah, you don't like my kids.
Because my kids come from me.
Yeah. But she's only thinking about the part of her son.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they're my kids.
Yeah, they're still my children.
And what's not going to happen is that what I guarantee you I'm not going to allow to happen
is you be talking bad about me in front of my kids.
Bad mouth me
in front of my kids. Yep.
So kick rocks.
Yeah.
You're not the asshole.
Yeah.
I tell grandma, granny, kick rocks. You know what I would do?
Granny, kick rocks. That's crazy work.
I send her a Christmas card every year with the boys on it.
Well, at least she can hang up the picture,
so she get to see them.
Yep. And I will make sure that
I wouldn't tell her them names.
I will make sure that I make sure that they're always dressed in their culture attire.
And to the brother-in-law and to the brother-in-laws, shut up.
To the brother-in-laws and their wives?
Yeah.
Shut up.
You still have contact with her, so if y'all want to get together and see the kids, y'all can go over there. Y'all mama done fucked up. So, I get it.
Apparently the only one they talk to and that they're cool with is the sister-in-law.
No,
the brothers and the brothers' wives were calling her basically to tell her that she was wrong for keeping the kids away from mom.
Fuck them.
And none of them have kids.
So fuck them.
The only people that have kids is Tom and his sister-in-law, but the sister-in-law cut them off too because she was tired of their BS too. So you not only did you get cut off from your son, you got cut off from your daughter too. That's work. That's crazy.
As a man who is clearly married.
That's crazy work.
I am a firm believer that once you get married, the family that you are creating is far more important than the family you come from. So there is no family member alive that I am related to that will ever have the possibility to get in between me and what my family is doing and who my family is.
Yeah.
So.
Well, guys.
I know, we know that was a long one. She picked it. This has been another episode of Life After I Do.
If you're not doing so already, you need to follow us on all of our social media platforms.
At Life After I Do.
At Life After I Do podcast. You can also write into the podcast at Life After I Do podcast at gmail.com. You get a new episode every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday, good, and not the show.
And don't forget to like, comment, and share. Don't be one of those weird people that are always looking at our TikToks and Instagram and don't follow. We see you. Okay, don't be weird. Just follow. Love you.
Until next time.
Peace, Booskies.
Peace, Booskies.